If you fly drones in the UK, you've probably been told that you can't fly near castles, historic monuments or historic Scotland sites. But that's not actually what the law says. In fact, many of these places don't have a drone no-fly zone. So in this video, we're going to look at what historic Scotland can control, what they absolutely cannot control, and how to tell whether a castle is really inside a fly restricted zone. In the UK, airspace is controlled by aviation law, not landowners. The organisation responsible for regulating aircraft, including drones, is the Civil Aviation Authority. Historic Scotland, landowners, councils and private organisations do not control the airspace above their land. And that distinction is extremely important for drone pilots or drone operators. Organisations such as Historic Scotland can control things like access to their property, whether you can take off from the land, filming permits for commercial work and visitor safety. So if you launch a drone from within their castle grounds, they can ask you to stop. That's their land. What they can't do is create a flight restriction zone. Only aviation authorities can create restricted airspace. So a castle, monument or historic site does not automatically create a no-fly zone. However, that doesn't mean that you can automatically fly near any castle. You still have to check the airspace regulations. You still have to check the actual airspace restrictions. For example, if the castle happens to be inside an airport flight restriction zone, then flights over that castle are restricted. In those situations, the restriction comes from the airport airspace and not the castle's airspace. There's also another practical issue. Many historic sites attract crowds of visitors. Under drone regulations, you must stay a minimum distance from uninvolved people. If your drone is over 250 grams, that is. But if the number of people can reasonably be counted as a crowd, then you can't fly over them, even with a sub 250 gram drone. This isn't because of a restriction on the airspace around a castle or monument or historical site, but because of the CAA drone regulations, which say you can't fly over crowds. Another category that creates a lot of confusion is sites of special scientific interest, or SSSIs. These areas are protected for wildlife, plants or geology, but again, they don't automatically create restricted airspace. The airspace above them is still usually governed by the Civil Aviation Authority and normal aviation rules. The real issue with SSSIs is not that you're breaking drone regulations if you fly there, but you may be disturbing wildlife. And if your drone disturbs protected wildlife, particularly nesting birds, you could be breaking wildlife protection laws. So while the airspace still may be legal to fly in, you need to act responsibly. When checking a location near a castle or a historic monument, ask yourself 3 simple questions. 1. Is there an airport flight restriction nearby? 2. Are there temporary restrictions such as NOTAMs? Now, I'll be coming on to what NOTAMs are and how important they are in the next video in this series, but that's something that you will need to check too. And 3, am I flying safely around people and wildlife? If those 3 things are clear, then the castle itself isn't usually the issue. So the key takeaway from this video is simple. Castles, monuments and historical Scotland sites do not automatically create flight restriction zones around the castles, monuments or historical Scotland sites. They can control access to the land, but the airspace above them is governed by aviation law. In the next video, we'll look in detail at NOTAMs, how to check NOTAMs, what NOTAMs are and why they are extremely important to check before every single drone flight that you take. So please like, subscribe, hype and leave a comment on this video if you found any of the information useful. And thanks for watching till the very end, if you did. If you didn't, to hell with you. Cheerio then now.